What we have here is a Ford Econoline 350 with the 7.3 liter international diesel. It's done 77,000 miles. I paid $3,000 for it. It's not too bad for a 30-year-old service vehicle. So if you're thinking to yourself, Jason, why an ambulance over something like a van? There's several reasons. One, these back cabs are built specifically for people to occupy. In fact, they're actually rollover rated in the event of a crash. And they're made typically out of aluminum with 2-inch square tubing. So they're built very well, and you don't have to worry about rust on the back cabs because they're aluminum. Secondly is storage. If this is going to be a mobile studio or even a mobile home, you got to have a lot of storage. And the ambulance delivers storage in spades. Starting down low, we have our battery box. Right above that, we have storage that is accessible from the outside and the inside of the cab. Another storage bin, back corner. All storage bins are lit and aluminum. Then you have this really tall storage locker that I believe was intended for stretchers and gurneys, and it runs the entire 8 feet height of the ambulance. You could put surfboards, anything tall would go right in there. On the back you have another cabinet that is accessible from the outside and the inside. This was built into an interior cabinet that I have already ripped out. We'll go to the inside in a second. Back corner here, I'm going to make this tool storage and fluid storage in order to maintain the diesel engine. And she's got some bumps and bruises that I'm going to fix. This cabinet here is my favorite. To give you an idea of just how large these storage lockers are, I'm sitting in this one, upright, with my legs hanging out. I could swing them in. That was the garbage chute where they would drop garbage from inside down into here. This is going to be my electrical compartment. I have big plans for that. Last but definitely not least is another tall cabinet that was designed for the oxygen bottle. That wraps up the outside. Let me take you inside. Now keep in mind, I have already gutted the interior. The interior was very nice. It was very ambulance-esque with blue vinyl and sort of like a gray Formica. I took all that out because I realized there was no real insulation behind all those cabinets. And I live in Missouri where it gets very cold. In fact, it was 29 this morning. I need to make this a true 4-season type camper. So everything had to come out. And I'm currently redoing the wiring. Let's take a look. She may not be very attractive right now, but trust me, she's got it where it counts. Another positive to buy an ambulance is the wiring system is just beautiful. It is so meticulous and well done. Trying to figure all this out and tap into the wiring system is a little bit daunting. One of the reasons why this wiring is dangling like this was I had to pull the ceiling out. It had a very nice fiberglass ceiling that I had planned on keeping, but it was sort of corrugated. In certain areas they had dropped it like 2 inches really unnecessarily. So I can barely stand up as it is with the ceiling out. With the ceiling in, I can't stand up. I'm already going to be suffering for height in here. And that's one of the compromises that I had to make when I bought an ambulance. And I'm willing to make that compromise. When I insulate the floor and I put the ceiling in, I will be hunched over just a little bit, but I plan on living outside of this space, not really living in it. So this back cab is 8 feet wide and 12 feet long, just about 6 feet tall with the ceiling out of it. And there's the aluminum square tubing I was telling you about. This will all be insulated. I realize right now it doesn't look like much. The potential is there though, trust me. I was gonna document the tearing out of all the components, but I thought, it's really not needed. You don't need to watch me grunt and groan and drag out all these cabinets. I really wanted to keep the cabinets, but they would not work for what I'm trying to do. Let's go over some of the projects I plan on putting in this thing. The first thing you have to know is this is going to be designed to be an off-grid rig. Boondocking all the way. So on the roof, I will be putting 4 of these 335 watt sun power solar panels for 1,300 watts of solar. To store all that power, I will be installing 2 Tesla Model S battery packs for a total of 500 amp hours at 24 volts. I will also be running a Victron Multi-Plus 24 volt inverter, and I've got a high efficiency mini split heat pump that we will be installing for cooling purposes only. Along with all that, I've got a Nature's Head composting toilet. We're going to put in a full shower, 45 gallons of freshwater storage, and then a 6-gallon water heater. So it's going to be a stout little camper. I don't know if you can see that. That's a vent fan. We actually have a vent fan installed. All this stuff is just sort of temporarily installed because I'm going to pull all this off when I go to Florida and paint this thing. The big thing today, and why my hands are black, is I just replaced this windshield. This was my first windshield replacement, but it was just leaking. It wasn't a bad windshield, it was just leaking. So I thought, why pay to have a brand new glass put in when I can just clean it up, strip it out, buy the appropriate sealant, and replace it. So that's what I did. Other than that, it's been a lot of boring stuff. Like, I've been doing a lot of insulating. I built this battery box, and I've started to install the battery components. The inside has just been lots and lots of insulation and planning of how this thing's going to be laid out. Like, I've got one of my main doors done. This is actually chalkboard material, so I can have a good time decorating that. And then, like I said, just insulation. Here's the toilet. I've got linear bearings here, and I'm going to mount one up top. So this wall will slide open and close and allow access to the shower room, which will be here, which is 2 by 2, and then the commode. So you can hop in, close the door. We're going to have to build storage right here. This will be like a drying shelf for shoes and boots, and then we're going to put cabinets in here. So the door will slide this way over our cabinets and allow entry into the bathroom shower area. So that's the first part. And then this area here is going to be, I'm thinking at this moment it's going to be the pull-out refrigerator. So we'll have to build a cabinet that covers this, and the refrigerator will be in a drawer that pulls out, and there'll be more storage in here. Okay, so going now to the right of the main entry door, we're going to have our kitchen. Now, this is about the right height for the kitchen countertop. We have a water tank below it. This is a hot water heater, and this will be all the plumbing stuff, but we're going to basically have to build a box to go under the countertop, and I'm going to move the water heater down, so we'll have some storage in here. I've got a sliding door that'll go here. So this is the kitchen area. The sink will be here, the countertop will be here, and then above we're going to mount some top mounted cabinets that aren't going to be very deep this way as far as like height goes, but they'll be fairly deep that way. So that's the kitchen. And now transitioning to the back door, if you can imagine, wraparound countertop, little wood stove sits here. It's mounted to this bulkhead. The chimney goes up and out, maybe some wood storage below. And right here, I was thinking we were going to do sort of like a desk that doesn't have any support, because this area right here is where the bed is. This is 7 feet. I know it's hard to tell, but this is 7 feet. If we pull it out to here, we've got almost 54 inches. I've got this camera set up so it doesn't look right, but 54 inches wide. So we're going to do a pull-out sort of couch bed, and I thought about having a desk high enough to where the bed could pull out below it, and I would still have a place to work. So my feet would sort of go under the desk, and you know, when I'm sleeping, I don't really care if my feet are sort of under a desk. And then above the top here, we're going to do top-mounted cabinets that ties everything back into these cabinets here. I've been out here all day installing the solar panels and getting everything fired up on the ambulance. Even though it's not quite ready for power, the thing is, I need power because the location that I've rented to store this and to continue working on it does not have power. So I'm going to have to start generating my own. And I can say as of right now, we are in fact generating our own power. Please forgive the thrown together nature of this compartment. Like I said, this is a sort of like a soft start. I'll have everything installed and finalized and cleaned up in the final revision of this. The heart of the system is 2 Tesla Model S modules for approximately 500 amp hours at 24 volts. Runs up to some fuses, a main disconnect. This is a remote disconnect in case the temperature gets too low. I am monitoring them for temperature high and low. I will be running a liquid heating and cooling solution eventually. I already have that planned out, but I haven't got it installed yet. From there, I've got a 150 volt 60 amp solar charge controller by Victron, and then my 2 panel array up top. I've got about 1300 and I think 50 watts of solar on the ambulance. That's the input side. Output, I have a Victron MultiPlus 24 volt 3000 watt inverter. It only does 120, it won't do 240 volts, but the AC loads come out, run across to a simple AC junction box, and these are my AC lines that run into the kitchen and the air conditioner and other plugs. And then I have a buck, I guess a DC step converter that converts 24 volts to 12, or actually it's 13.4. So all of my 13 or my 12 volt loads are here, and then this is the 12 volts from the ambulance itself. So house 12 volts from the motor. So the battery and the system for the actual ambulance part, the motor part, is totally separate from the house power. The ambulance, it has a fuel leak. I'm preparing to take a trip here in a week or two to go visit my mom, and we're going to spend 2 weeks working on the ambulance and getting more of it done. It is completely full. It's full of all kinds of stuff to go down, and there's some progress made. 9 o'clock on the second day, all the parts came in, all the parts fit. The leak appears to be fixed. I will probably take this for a drive to push the system and get it good and hot before I button it up with the doghouse and everything, just to see if it's leaking. But yeah, this is my first time ever dealing with a vehicle that has a doghouse configuration where, the motor is inside the vehicle. But once you sort of understand that if you just remove the passenger seat, the doghouse comes out, it's actually really easy to work on. There's a lot of room in here. I was pretty intimidated at first coming around the front here, because there is not a lot of room in through here. But the backside, that's where it's at. I just drove the ambulance across town without the dog box on the engine to test for leaks, and so I could monitor the engine as I'm driving. Never done that before. A couple of tips if you ever decide to drive a vehicle like this with no dog box over the engine. 1 is earplugs. It's extremely loud. 2 is earplugs. It is extremely loud. 3, roll your windows down, because all the heat off the engine is now in your lap. You should probably wear safety glasses too. It's a wild ride. I drove 1,000 miles yesterday to visit my mom and my stepdad with the ambulance, and I'm happy to report that it did the entire journey without a single mechanical problem or failure. I'm here visiting them. He's going to help me paint the entire ambulance. We got all the windows out, the fan out, and we're currently, he's sanding, I'm getting some sealant. He's sanding the roof, and we're going to bed liner the entire ambulance. And we chose kind of like a tan color, sort of a desert tan look. I think it'll be cool. We're going to do a texture to cover up some of these, body imperfections like this area right here. But yeah, I'll be here 2 weeks. I'm going to try to document the whole thing. If we get the outside done, we're going to work on the inside and try to get that done. So we got rained out this morning, and the paint we're using is a water curing paint, or a moisture curing paint. So having a lot of humidity in the air and having the ambulance be wet is not ideal. So we are pivoting to cabinetry. The refrigerator freezer is on sliders, so it slides out. But this space up here, we're going to build a cabinet for the microwave. And also, I want to be able to pull the microwave out so I can physically get inside the cabinet here to work on wiring. So, sort of like a microwave space and sort of a crawl space so I can chase wires if I need to down into the electrical cabinet. And that's what this box is, the electrical box. How's it coming? Okay, final update for today. We lost half the day to rain, but we did get started, and we've got some pretty good progress. We did get the microwave cabinet made, and those will be mounted in. That's above the pull-out refrigerator freezer, so that works. We also reworked this cabinet that's right by the front door with a fan, so you can put like wet boots or hats up here, and that gives you a nice private place to sit on the toilet, so you'll have a nice stall behind you. And never lip to the old man. He will throw a wrench at you faster than you can say, Bob's your uncle. So yeah, he may be slow, but he's got old age and treachery on his side. We did get the roof sanded, prepped, cleaned, and ready for paint. So tomorrow morning, if the rain allows, that's the first thing we're gonna try and do. But if not, we're going to do the cedar ceiling. The ceiling is ready with regards to all the cabinets are up. So the first thing tomorrow is paint on the roof. If that doesn't work, cedar ceiling. And I am so tired of rubbing my head on this rock wall. I'll be very excited to have the cedar ceiling. Okay, day 2 has officially started. We do have rain in the forecast, so we're not going to do any paint work today. We are going to do some finish work inside. Most of my cabinetry, in fact, all of my cabinetry is oak plywood, and I wanted to do a finish on the oak that was a little bit darker than just a typical tung oil, which is what I've used before. So I found this Danish oil in a dark walnut, and I'm I'm really excited to try a little bit of that out. I just want to bring the oak down a little bit. Instead of have like a bright honey color, I wanted something a little darker. So what year is this again? This is a 1960 Metropolitan, yep, made by Nash. Yes. Nash Metropolitan.
This one's actually made by American Motors.
And you put, what kind of motor did you put in it?
1995 Toyota TRZ FE.
TRZ FE, 1995 Toyota, fuel injected, 150 horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shoehorned the monster into a little bitty car. It's gonna be a ball of fun when you're done, though. Look at that! Look at that! Driving me mad, it's driving me mad. Well, any minute. Okay, lunchtime update. We're stopping for lunch, making some pretty good progress. Can't work outside. It's been pouring all day. We've been working inside. This area here is going to be seating, bench seating, and it's actually going to be like a booth. So that we're building a seat on this end and a seat on this end. Then there'll be a table in the middle that drops down and becomes a bed. So we've already cut these out and they'll be hinged for under storage. And we're working on the end seats to make the booth dining / bed area. I wanted to do a full-size mattress, but it's not. It's going to be just shy of a full size because the little wood stove, the cubic mini wood stove, I don't want to risk a fire, so we had to make some adjustments. Time for lunch. Hopefully, next couple of days we'll be doing paint, but the inside's looking pretty good. Raining. It will not stop raining. Just so we backed the ambulance up in the garage. So it's dry in here. Kind of dry. The windows aren't sealed yet, so they're leaking. The roof was leaking. Looks like we're drowned rats. Oh. Gorilla tape will not stick in the rain, but this foil back tape will. So, to catch you up, we had solar panels on the roof when I drove down here, and we took the solar panels off yesterday to prep the roof for paint, leaving holes in the roof. And it had sprinkled a little bit, but now it's pouring, and it continues to pour. And we're doing woodwork, and now all that water is coming in and onto the floor and ruining our woodwork, so we had to scramble back up on the roof, and I was trying to tape the holes up, and we had Gorilla tape, and I used this foil tape, this ductwork tape prior, but I couldn't get the backing off. I'm up on the roof all wet trying to get the backing off, so Robert had to stand inside and peel the backing off and hand it to me while I was up there, and we got it. Leaks are stopped. Now we're trying to dry everything out, but whew, did not expect this much rain. You deal with the circumstances you're given. We will adapt and overcome. Final post of today. It has rained its backside off all day. We were getting leaks through some very small holes in the roof that has caused us to stop, so I have pulled insulation down trying to dry the leaks out. I did get the cubic mini wood stove sort of mocked into place, and it looks great. I will have to create some custom heat shielding for up here, so I'll bend a piece of stainless around the back. It comes with the heat shield that covers the back, but I'll have to protect this. But I am really excited with the location. So it'll be kitchen counter and then a little wood stove by the back door. Now this back door is all metal. This is aluminum and this is aluminum, so it shouldn't be much of a problem. We will see. Time will tell. Start of day 3, and our efforts were slightly hampered yesterday due to the rain. We got 4 inches of rain yesterday, so we're desperately trying to dry the ambulance out. We've got fan going all over the place trying to dry areas that leaked because none of the windows are sealed yet because we don't have the paint yet. So today we're going to possibly work on the ceiling and do a hardware run. So still progress, just not the progress we were looking for. So we're trying to make progress in other areas. The cedar ceiling is hopefully going to go in today, and it's been curing overnight for the past 2 days. I've gotten a few questions about what kind of lighting I'm going to run in the ambulance, and it is the 12-volt LED little puck lights, and you drill a 2 1/8 hole in whatever material you're going to mount them in, and they're just a press fit. They press in like so, and you get a nice flush mounted fit. Now, the crazy thing is I'm thinking about cleaning these aluminum plates up. There's structural plates all the way back, and centering one puck light, drilling a hole and centering a puck light in each one of them. So, because you'll see these through the ceiling, the cedar will butt up to them. And if I clean them up and polish them up and drop a light in the middle of them, they'll almost look like it'll look like I meant to do that, like I meant to leave them there, because I can't take them out because they're structural. So that's probably, there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights down the center of the ambulance.
Will you destroy those useful lives in payment for the life of a man who should have died for crimes unpunished? The decision you have taken, we face it without fear, securing the belief that we are also fighting side by side, united in a common cause. So we can get to work helping you and your family. Please, take the first step and contact us today. Call 800-395-9151. That's 800-395-9151. Or go online to boondocking.com.
Thinking I'm liking the blue for the cabinets. I know it's different, but the ceiling will be cedar, and then the floor will also be a warm wood, and then I think the blue might be fun. Something a little different. What's your thoughts? Last update of the day. It has rained all day. It's supposed to rain off and on, but we have got another inch of rain, so it's over 5 inches now. And if you told me when I came down to Florida for the week, or for 2 weeks, that I would be battling water egress into the ambulance while I was working on it, I would have laughed. But that's the truth. I'm pulling down rock wool insulation as it gets soaked. We were prepping to paint. None of the windows are sealed, so we've got water coming in everywhere. So it's been sort of a tough day, but we're still moving forward. We got a lot of woodworking done. If you went back and saw the blue stain, I'm really kind of excited about that. It should look really good with the cedar, but I guess I'll show you around the shop and show you what we did get done today. Most of the cabinets are done. This is a booth style seating arrangement, and the toilet goes in the corner, but the corner's wet. But the other end of the booth is right here, with a nice hinged lid that leads down to a beautiful storage cabinet. So that will go on the other end, creating the booth. And then this beautiful thing here that's being glued up is the tabletop. Now the tabletop will fit inside the booth and drop down to form a bed. It's a little smaller than a full-size bed. I ordered a mattress today, which we will cut and cover to make the backrests, the pads of the bench seating, and then they will all come together like a big puzzle to form the bed. So progress has been made. Slow and wet progress, sweaty progress, but still making it. So the last big question is, how much of the oak do I take blue? Do I make blue? Because I've got cabinets on both sides. The wood stove goes right there. I did get the roof penetration for the wood stove done, and I'll have to make some shielding here and some shielding for the door, but that's coming. So I could take all this stuff blue, and the cabinets over there blue, and then those would be blue, and then of course the ceiling will be cedar, and the floor will be a pretty wood color. Oh, also the puck lighting. So the puck lighting, we decided to save these aluminum supports and not cover them, and so I polished them. There's a chalk line. I polished them, and the puck lighting just pops right in, and the wood ceiling will go around it. So each aluminum will have a puck light for 5, and then 1 over the shower area. Start of day 4, and it looks like we might finally get a break in the weather, so we are going to attempt to try and paint today. And apparently, my good buddy Phil, House of Chop, decided that I didn't look too good by the end of day 3. And he's right, but let's take a look at how Chop looked at the end of his day yesterday.
Ooh, that was like 4 hours of welding.
Ooh, only 4 hours of welding to do all that with this hair. Yeah, I don't have that problem. I just you know, cut myself on cabinetry and stuff. But yeah, should be a good day. I'm excited about the prospects today. Got things pretty much dry on the inside. We're gonna dry on the outside and clean things up and finally start getting some paint put on this thing today. So hopefully, if the weather holds, it's gonna be a good one. First step, let's get this thing dry and clean and prepped for paint. We got a coat of paint on. Actually, it's a bed liner, and it's tan, sort of a khaki color. I dig it. I'm on the roof of the shop, so I could get a shot of the roof of the ambulance. Actually, I left my cell phone on the roof of the shop, right there playing music, and I was like, I gotta get my phone down. But yeah, we're gonna stop for lunch while that dries and put on a second coat. We've been sanding and grinding on the ambulance for about an hour now. We're taking a break. Walked out to the back of the property and we have these muscadine grapes. And if you look, the vine starts way back over there and it goes up as far as you can see. I don't know if you can see that, but it's way up in the trees and all the way over here is just grapes everywhere. These aren't scuppernons. I was hoping they were scuppernong grapes, but apparently they're muscadine grapes. They're very sweet, they're very good, and they make a lovely break. Walk out here and pick a few. Yep. Take one last good look, because all this, except for that, is about to change. He's getting paint ready. Well, the first coat is on the side, and what can I say? It is a big tan blob. It's going to be a really good base coat. I think I'm gonna have to do some graphics to break up the fact that it is just so much brown, you know. I like it. I like the fact that it's, you know, it doesn't look like an ambulance anymore. It's not really loud, but I think I'm gonna have to do either vinyl won't stick because it's got a texture in it. I may even have to have something painted or just do something to break up the sea of brown, but this is the first coat of 2. I'm gonna get on the roof now and do the second coat. It's really heavy duty stuff called Durabac 18. Apparently the Navy uses it. So if it's good enough for the US Navy, I guess it's good enough for my ambulance. Well, I think that's gonna about wrap it up for today. I'm getting the shop cleaned up for Roberto. He's already turned in for the day. He made this really wonderful oak table, which will also drop down to be the bed. And he managed to get that done today. The ambulance is looking pretty good. We got 2 coats on the top and 2 coats, excuse me, on this side, as well as the door jambs. Tomorrow we'll tackle the far side and the back. So it is starting to dry. It's still a little tacky. So tomorrow I'll be installing windows, more paint. It's gonna be a good time, and hopefully soon we'll decide on a stain pattern and you'll get to see some of the inside cabinets come to life with stain. So yeah. Good morning, 7 a.m., start of day 5. Out in the shop, lots of painting today. I got some insulation for the doghouse that covers the motor in the ambulance we're gonna install. Because on the 1,000-mile trip down here, the inside of that ambulance cooked me like a baked potato. So we got that, lots more paint. I'll probably put the windows in today once the paint sets up good. So yeah, good morning. Already had breakfast and coffee, early start. Let's get rolling. First order of business, pull all the aluminum trim off and knock down the finish. That's what we're doing now. I got most of the trim off. I got to cut that fender flare off. The bolts are so rusted I couldn't get them. So little persuasion from my friends at Benchmark Abrasives, and we'll get those nuts off. Lunchtime update. This side is done with one coat, and we're working our way around to the back side. Tips for using this Durabac 18. Number one, Durabac 18 is a fantastic urethane coating. I love it. It dries fast. It uses xylene as a thinner, so you'll need xylene. Don't get xylene on your hands or your face because it burns. It sets up quick, especially in high humidity. It's a moisture curing paint, so when you mask everything off and you paint it, you have to pull the masking off before the paint sets, and the paint will set. It's supposed to set in like an hour, hour and a half. This stuff will set up in 30 minutes in this high humidity and heat. So don't leave your masking tape on and go inside and have lunch, because you'll pull the masking tape off and it'll stay with the paint. But it's a really good paint. Now this paint does not have rubber in it. They make two types of this bedliner coating. It's a urethane coating. They make one with rubber particles for like an anti-slip or grippy type scenario. Then they have this stuff which has no rubber in it, but we're using a stipple roller, which is basically just a glorified sponge roller, to put a texture in it. And the texture is nice because the bodywork on this 30-year-old ambulance is not perfect, nor will I spend the money or time to get it perfect. It's more of a workhorse finish than a trailer queen. So the pattern covers up any bodywork problems, you know, and it also covers up any painting. So it's any painting problems. So it's very forgiving. It's got a little bit of a shine to it too. It's kind of glossy. You can almost hear my hand slip across it. So I feel like it'll be very easy to keep clean, and it's tough stuff. And the funny thing is, we're painting this vehicle like a house. We're using brushes and rollers. Now you can spray it. It is a sprayable coating. But we thought by the time we got the sprayer set up, because this stuff is thick, you'd have to thin it with xylene. By the time we got the sprayer set up and everything masked out, it would probably be just as easy and more controlled if we just rolled it and brushed it. And that's what we've done. And I'm pretty pleased with the results. It's not perfect by any stretch, but will it be serviceable? Yes. Well, okay, we've been steadily at it all day. We have 2 coats of paint all over the entire back box here, and I have something really exciting to show you. One of the designs Robert has finished, just needs stain. Let's step inside here. So that cabinet is pretty much done with the refrigerator, microwave, and look, we have a booth. Isn't this great? So the table is not completely mounted to the floor yet. It will be, but it is adjustable for height, and you can spin it. It will comfortably seat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. Storage below all of the cabinets, and then the table drops down to make a bed that is 50 inches wide. And probably when I've got a big project on the table and I'm alone, I'll just crash right there. There will be a mattress pad, which we will make cushions for this here, cushions for this over here. And the back cushions will come out and drop into the cavity for the table, making it a bed. I'm super excited about the table. And then there's this beautiful picture window that you can sit, have breakfast, look out over the beautiful mountain vista or oceanside view, depending on what fancies you on that day. And that is what I'm looking forward to. Waking up in beautiful places and just living life. Yeah. Okay, stain update time. After many cans purchased and lots of things tested, we have a winner. We're using this Minwax wood finish penetrating stain. It dries in 2 hours. It seems to be really good stuff. I'll show you the test we've performed. So we have the blue that we did a couple days ago, and this is bare oak. This is the blue. I think this is gunstock. That is mahogany, and then the ceiling is going to be cedar. Well, that's gonna be a wrap for today. It is 8 o'clock. We got the paint on the cab done, or the rear box done. It's looking pretty good. We just got back from Joann Fabrics where we picked out fabric for the couch cushions. You're gonna have to wait to see that. But we did do something really interesting today. We stained the table. Now this is the main eating table, and yes, it is blue. Now there is no clear coat on this table. So if you can imagine how pretty it looks now, wait till we have clear coat on. So yes, the cabinet faces will be blue and the table will be blue. The rest will be they call it a honey color. But with that being in mind, I'm gonna get a shower now because I stink. I hope all of you have a wonderful evening, and I will see all of you bright and early tomorrow morning for day 6, I do believe. Good morning, everybody. It is 7:40 on day 6. I had to think about that for a second. We have a lot on the docket today. We're gonna put windows in, put the lights back in, put the solar panels back on, but the big task for today is cleaning and prepping the cab for paint. That's gonna be a big job. There's a lot of surfaces and things that need to be masked off on the cab. Fixed this fender, had a boo-boo in it. That's fixed. Yeah, I gotta give the old girl a fresh look. So that's what we're doing today. The rest of the box is done though. It just needs to have everything put back in, and that part is finished. And I'm really happy with the way it turned out. A couple of other odds and ends projects going on today. The doghouse. I have removed the doghouse and pulled the old insulation out. I'm going to re-insulate it with some new reflective foil and then put the old stuff back to cover it up. And we're actually putting clear coat on our blue table. This is the underside of the table, and I've got one layer of clear that's still drying. And this is a test piece that's got some clear on it. So yeah, just little odds and ends. The mattress that I ordered to make the couch cushions was too short. I ordered a full, and the bed is 81 inches long, so I needed to buy a king. So scratch that, got a king on the way. It'll be here Monday, and then we'll cut that and sew up pillows. So yeah, let's get rolling. So I'm trying to get these side steps off so we can paint the rocker boxes, and these bolts and nuts are completely rusted. So at first I was like, all right, I need you guys to come off. And then I was like, will you please come off? So I used some WD-40. And then I got so fed up, I was just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm done talking. They're coming off. When I bring out the benchmark abrasives, yeah, I'm done talking. So here we go. And poof, it's like magic. It's off. Thank you, benchmark. It has been about between 104 and 107 degree heat index today, so it's been a scorcher. And the cab took a long time, like half a gallon of paint just to do the cab. And there's so many little edges and details and things to remove and things to mask. It took me up until now, when we took a break, to get the cab done. But the cab is done. It is drying. It looks pretty good. We have a lot of things to put back on. I need to go over it one more time and check for spots that I missed, thin spots. Robert's been inside doing his magic on the woodworking. So we are making all kinds of progress, and even though it's very hot, it's very good.
Yeah. Are you gonna put a poly?
Oh yeah, we're gonna use a water-based polyurethane, actually polyacrylic on the whole thing. Oh yes. That is where the wood stub goes. And we just got the windows put in. I used a butyl tape. If you've never used a butyl tape before, I'll give you a pro tip. Freeze it. It's a butyl rubber tape wrapped in paper. At room temperature or out here at 100 degrees, it is so sticky you cannot work with it. So you freeze it, and then you can apply it to the window frozen. You can work with it no problem. And then the minute you take the window outside to stick it onto your vehicle, the tape becomes very sticky and tacky, and then it squirts out when you screw the window down or clamp the window down. So yeah, freeze your butyl tape before you work with it. Speaking of butyl tape, here is what it looks like You can get on Amazon, and it's this really sticky putty. But it's best if you freeze it so it's easily workable. Otherwise, it just sticks to everything and then it tears. So freeze it first, and that's the stuff that you put on the windows. You put on the back side of the windows, and you screw them in or you clamp them in, whatever kind of window you've got. It squirts out, and then you just trim it. There you go. Butyl tape tip 101. Well, it is the end of a very hot, very long, very labor-intensive day, but I feel like we have something to show for it. Now, it's not done. Still have running boards and windows to put in and the front grille, and blinkers, lots of accessories, glass to clean. But the paint, for the most part, is done. A few odds and ends to touch up. I got some rocker box stuff to do, antenna to put back. It'll look way better when everything is completed. But yeah, this is the color. I'm really happy with the way the finish came out. See, it's got a texture to it, but it's still kind of glossy. Good morning, everybody. It's almost afternoon. We're getting a little bit of a late start on the stories today because I had to go to Lowe's and do a hardware run so I can put the side steps back on. But we are back at it, wrapping up the finish today. And then Robert is inside toiling away on the cedar ceiling. He's starting to cut in the cedar ceiling around those puck lights. And I reserve the right to have a slow start today because today is my 40th birthday. And how do I choose to spend it? Laying under an ambulance, sweating my face off, welding in a rocker panel. Yeah, it's a choice. It's a life decision, but I'm happy with it. I'm gonna roll with it. So yeah, I'm 40 today. What are you gonna do? Well, it's the end of another day, and I didn't get nearly done today what I expected to do, but I had a friend from Instagram, Donnie Carter, come visit me today, which was very nice to catch up with him. We'd never met in real life. But on the other hand, Robert stayed very, very busy today, and he got the first 2 pieces, actually 3 pieces, of cedar mounted. And it looks really, really good. I'm very pleased. And I love the aluminum, how we use the aluminum braces for lighting pucks. So yeah. Okay, let's get rolling. We got a lot to do today. I've got to leave here in 2 days. I'm rolling out Wednesday. So we're going to stain and mount the wood stove today. We have to stain this section behind the wood stove so I can mount that. We're gonna mount the solar panels. I need to clean and mount the spotlights. Mount the fridge back down so the fridge doesn't roll around while I'm moving. Robert's gonna work on the ceiling today, and I'll help when he needs me to. Got to put the doghouse back inside now that I've insulated the doghouse so it doesn't cook me like a potato going home. Finish this rocker box project. I never did weld the patch panel because the driver's side rocker box was kind of rusted out a little bit. So got my trans still ready to rock and roll. I got the patch panel all made and cleaned, and so yeah, we have a lot to do today. A lot of small little projects, but we're gonna push on. Holy moly, it's a lunchtime update. I have sweating clean through my CK Worldwide shirt. We're getting lots done. Got the wood stove panel ready to mount the wood stove. We've got a hole. Look at that. Beautiful cedar ceiling. I am in love with this cedar ceiling. It is going to be so nice. And I think the dark wood up to the cedar, and then the blue is going to be, it's going to be good. Robert's been working inside all day. I've been outside. I got now you can't see. I got the spotlights in, all cleaned up and sealed and mounted. And then the last thing is solar panels. I got the solar panels mounted and sealed. So yeah, it's been a pretty productive morning. Good morning, everyone. It is start of day, I don't know, 8, 9? I have totally lost track. But this is the last day, and we've got to get all the little projects wrapped up and get this thing packed and ready to go on the road tomorrow morning early. Oh, it's looking so good. It's got this nice old school retro vibe that I'm really digging. Got the aluminum clean, and I get these mounted this morning. We got a little bit of the ceiling left to do. Look at that ceiling. Look at it. We got a little bit here left to do. That's about it. And clean everything up. Put everything together. Fill her full of fuel. And head home tomorrow morning. Well, I'm out and about today. I had to go by Lowe's and get some spray foam because we're making the couch cushions and we needed to glue some foam together. But check it out. There it is. First Lowe's run with the newly painted Makermobile. Still lots to go to bring it alive. Lots of electrical, lots of plumbing, lots of everything, but we made some big strides over the past 8 days. This is the last update from this location. It has been a fantastic 9-day journey here, but tomorrow morning, about 3 a.m., I am headed out, driving 1,000 miles back home. And let's take a look at what we got done. The ambulance is packed to go home, and I've got all the weight up front because this is a lot of heavy stuff, so ignore the mess. But the cushions are done. It's really nice gray fabric. And then these two cushions here and there fit into this spot when the table drops to form the bed. So yeah, well, Mom just got the cushions sewn, and it is hot as Hades in here, so I'm going to wrap things up, close things down, and go inside because I just got a shower. I'm in Metropolis, Illinois. I've been driving since about 1:45 this morning, and I was getting tired, so I decided to stop at a rest area and take a break. So I took had about a 30-minute nap. I set the alarm for 45 minutes, but I'm pleased to report the bed slash couch slash sitting area works great. It's kind of noisy, lots of trucks in and out, but I got about 30 minutes, which would be good enough to reset the old clock, make the final push home. I got about 6 hours to go. Good morning, everyone. I've been very busy getting more things done on the ambulance, and as I sit at my table, I'm enjoying breakfast cooking. I have my vent fan pulling air in, or pushing air in toward us to keep all that wonderful bacon smoke out the window. The inside's still very much a work in progress. I don't have a backsplash. I've got some slate hung on the wall there. This is mainly my clothing storage that I installed. LED lights so that you can see, everything you need. Those are the original sliding doors out of the ambulance. I just frosted them because they were clear and I didn't like the fact that you could see in them. But I repurposed them because they're really good at keeping things from falling out. Main control panel, I guess all the electrical's over here. Solar system. I ran the heat pump last night. It's really hard to see, but the battery's only at 86%. And I ran the heat pump for heat last night because it was quite chilly. All sorts of lights and accessories. And then this is the main LED lights. And they're dimmable. And then just tap it, turn them off. On, off. That is the one trade-off that when I build my next one, I will section the roof, raise it, or actually I think about building a custom box in and of its own right so that I can fully stand, because after a while of doing food prep like this, your neck does hurt. Really big news is that 2 days ago I finally get the water system connected. Hot and cold running water. This entire area under here is a 45-gallon water tank. I cut a sight glass in so you can see where your water level is at a glance. Hot and cold running water, and then also I have filtered water. Filter for drinking water. The shower, which is not done yet. I'm still waiting for the material for the shower. That is going to be temperature controlled by a mixing valve under the sink. So you just set the temperature and then you'll just have an off and on in the shower, as well as an outdoor shower. which I'm going to be installing soon. So there's my hot water heater. It's electric, and it has coolant loops or water loops that run into this cabinet here. And I worked on this cabinet all day yesterday. It's a 5-gallon, actually it's an air tank, but I'm using it for water. And those run down to this diesel-fired hot water heater. And there's the fuel tank, fuel filter, fuel pump. So this turns on, pumps water up through these heater pipes in this tank and gets this tank up to 76 degrees Celsius, which is about 165 degrees Fahrenheit. And then this loop here is controlled by a thermostat to this mixing valve or this water pump, and it pumps through the floor. So we radiant heat in the floor, and it also makes hot water. As you can tell, I still have a lot of wiring to do in here. I've got to sort out the control module and the thermostat for that. It's installed and it's working, but the thermostat is still waiting to be cut in. I'm going to mount all that right here. So that'll be the main heat control, secondary thermostat for the in-floor loop. And then of course my wood stove, which I cannot wait to fire the wood stove up. I need to put a small shield right here to protect this glass. I'll probably open this window for fresh air makeup. Yeah, it's coming along. I'm definitely enjoying my space. I forgot to mention this project. This was several days in the making. I didn't want to hang the outside unit to the heat pump on the back of the ambulance, but looking at all my options, it's really the only place that it can go. So I fabbed up this metal bracket that bolts to the ambulance. It covers this door. This door led nowhere. It led to a cabinet that's not there anymore. And I'm not using this door because it's the back of my couch right there. So this is the only door on the back that opens and closes. But I fabricated this bracket. It weighs about 65 pounds, the heat pump unit does, and I wanted to make sure it was supported and locked down. One more thing I wanted to bring up. All these projects, all this work on the ambulance is being powered by this off-grid solar system. This Victron 3000 watt inverter, these two Tesla Model S batteries, even the welder that I used to weld that bracket, which was my Fronius Transsteel 2200, was powered off this system. I was able to run that welder at 19.8 volts and weld that bracket single pass. It's really impressive what these batteries and what this system's capable of. Now, it's not 220 volt. I wish it was. And when I make the system for the trailer, I'm going to learn from my mistakes I've made here, and I'm going to do a 220 split phase system that's capable of probably 6,000 to 9,000 watts. It got down to the mid 40s last night, so let's do an update on the radiant floor heating system. I ran it last night, and the floor was warm, but the room was cold. So either I don't have enough loops in the floor, which is a possibility. There's 2 inches of expanded polystyrene foam, and then the coolant loops are in that foam, or I don't have enough mass on top of the loops. The way it was explained to me, the radiant floor heating is best when it heats up a mass that can then radiate that heat into the room. So after I put the flooring down, that might help. But then today I decided to build a radiant air heating setup. So this is a 4-fan radiator. Those of you who do custom PC cooling might notice this. This is just a standard PC 4-fan radiator cooling loop for like CPU or GPU cooling. I'm going to take this and plumb it into the circuit and mount it right under my little wood stove. It's 12-volt fans. It'll be mounted right here on arms that swing out, and the fans are pretty quiet, and it should allow me to warm the air in the cab during the night with those fans. I've tested the flow, and it's a pretty good breeze. So I'm looking forward to that. I still have a lot of finished work. I need to put the wiring in a loom, and I need to put the plumbing on flexible tubing and plumb it to the wall and then make the brackets so it looks good. So right now it's very rough, but I've got to build a shroud. And yes, the water coolant loop, or the water heating loop is working. I have the thermostat that came from China. This is a Chinese unit, not a German unit, so it was 1/5 the price of a German unit. And then this is the thermostat that controls the floor. There'll be one more thermostat. These are $12 thermostats from Amazon or eBay, and it will control the fan blower down below. That's an update. I'll keep you posted as the temperature drops. It's been a good day. You ever have one of those days when you just get multiple rounds of good news, and even though there's struggles and things you have to do during the day, it just kind of falls into place. Today was that day. I went to the doctor last week for a physical, just to check the old blood, liver, kidney function, all that stuff. Yeah, I'm healthy, so that's good. Got some news about the ambulance. If I can turn this camera around, I'll show you. Got the floor in. I like the floor. It's coming along nicely. Oh, water tank. Water tank is completely full. That's important for this. And I weighed the ambulance today. The gross vehicle weight for this ambulance, as it came from Ford, is 10,500 pounds, and that's important. I was really concerned I had gone over that weight because I got a little overzealous with the oak. All my cabinets are 3/4 inch oak, which is very stout, sturdy, good material, also very heavy. Going forward, I would have picked probably a 3/8 of an inch like birch or something lighter, and I would have changed how I built them. Also, I have 45 gallons of water, fresh water, and a 5-gallon or 6-gallon hot water heater. And then in the far corner, I have another 5 gallons of coolant loop that coolant for the loop that I heat up to do my floor. So I've got a lot of weight in water, Tesla batteries, fridge, freezer, all this stuff. I was really concerned that I was over the weight, so I took it to a local Quick Trip scale, weighed it. 10,400 pounds. Drive axle is 3180. This means that this vehicle is fully loaded. The trailer, I can probably pull it very short distances, like across town, to move it. But as far as going cross country with my mobile metal shop behind this rig, not a good idea. It'll be overloaded. Oh, another thing too, air conditioner. I got off work this morning after working all night, so I had to take a nap in the ambulance today. And it was like 82 degrees outside, and I didn't want to have the windows open because I have allergies. So I ran that air conditioner, this mini split heat pump, all day while I was in here at about between 75 and 78 degrees. And it idled all day, just like right now. It's running right now. It is pulling 285 watts. It's pulling 286. The battery's at 95%. We're not producing any solar because it's dark right now. The point is, with 1,340 watts of solar on the roof, with the sun out today, I was able to run this air conditioner all day. The batteries were at 100% by noon. I was able to make hot water with electricity, and it covered everything. It's very exciting for me. Of all the things I've done on this build, all the different things I've tried, the radiant floor heating and everything, so far, using the Tesla modules and the Victron components to make a solar system, an off-grid solar system for this, it's worked out great. I will definitely be implementing that in improved iterations in the next build. It just can't be beat. I really don't have to sacrifice any creature comforts. Had enough solar to make hot water, run the AC, didn't discharge the batteries. That's super cool. So it's coming up on my end of my 3rd week, start of my 4th week of living in the ambulance or living out of it. And I spent half the day inside today. I've been working outside a lot, and so I realized that and actually taking a day off to just sort of chill a little bit for several days. So I thought, today let's take a sort of half a day to relax before I end up going to work tonight. So I'm just really happy with the space. I wired these lights up yesterday, the lights inside the cabinets, and then under counter lighting, I got my Netflix with my speaker, air conditioner set just right. It's my wardrobe, my task lighting. And then I'm going through footage from my trip to Florida. So I'm actually working on the build video for this thing. Normally I'd have the table raised. This would be in table mode, not bed mode. But I'm kind of just chilling today. So this is sort of bed/couch mode where the table drops and becomes the bed. So I've got my feet all out. It's kind of nice. It's really comfortable. The only thing really lacking is the shower. I've got a big move coming up in this month. I don't know if I'm going to get the shower installed. There's also a lot of wiring behind the shower. So like once the shower is done, all that wiring is covered, and the only way to really like get to that wiring is to pull the shower down. So I'm getting everything wired and all my circuits just right before I cover them with the shower walls, you know. So there's that. It's all coming along. I'm just happy with the space. I think I might title the video for this 98 square feet, because that's how much space I've got.